come. We therefore need to remind this government that in the hierarchy of human needs, human life comes first. They have shown to the Constitution, they have sworn to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which categorically and explicitly stated that the purpose of governance is the welfare and security of its citizens. We need to remind this government that they are here basking in power courtesy of the votes from the North. We need to remind this government and its security agencies that their excuses for their failure to secure this country has long been unattainable, and citizens will not continue to take these excuses kindly. Finally, these killings of Northerners and the deriding of the North have aggravated and amplified the national question. If Northerners are still citizens of the Nigerian state, then they must be accorded the rights and privileges of citizens in any part of the Nigerian Federation. If, however, the Nigerian state is not willing or ready to accord Northerners their rights and privileges as citizens, then Northerners will have no option, will have no obligation towards the Nigerian state. The Nigerian state, like any modern state, is sustained by the social contract. Like as John Locke's theory of social contract says, and I quote, that held that the obligation to obey civil government under the social contract was conditional upon the protection of the natural rights of each person, unquote. So if the state should fail, we have no obligation to obey or even continue the union. The North has continued to make sacrifices to keep the union. It looks like it is time to throw in the towel. While we still appeal to our youth for restraint, this time we shall keep our fingers crossed and mount a sentinel to monitor the investigation promised and the prosecution of those arrested and the payment of the compensation to the families of those who lost their lives. Because the people they elected failed to live up to the oath of office to the tenets of the Constitution. Thank you.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. That was the concerned Northerners speaking through their spokesperson in this particular gathering, Najatu Mohammed, threatening breakup of Nigeria, literally, if the Nigerian state fell in its obligation to protect Northerners anywhere and everywhere in Nigeria. She was talking about that Nigerian government has obligation to protect the Northerner. Now, if Nigerian government failed to do that, then the North will have no obligation to obey the Nigerian government and to be part of the union. In other words, that was a subtle threat to the unity of the country. It shows that was how serious this gathering of concerned Northerners took the recent killing of Kanu hunters or Northern hunters in Uromi in Edo State, Nigeria. That is what we're going to talk about and look into the grievances of the North, which Najatu Mohammed itemized, and why they felt so angry about the state of the security in Nigeria. And this clip that we watched was from a much more longer video of that press conference. But you will notice that she also placed the blame where blame should be, the failure of the government to protect Nigerians, because the lives of Nigerians are not being protected. That's why you have all kinds of quasi-security groups operating under the names of vigilantes and what have you. So she put the blame where it rightly belongs, to the government, because the essence of government is to protect and provide welfare. That's the essence. Our constitution was clear on that too, that the essence of government is to protect and provide for the people and give them welfare. So she was saying that government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed in that obligation of protection of lives and property. And that was why she said that if the government is not willing and ready to accord northern people protection as citizens anywhere they are, then government has failed in its responsibility. And then northerners will have no obligation towards the Nigerian state. That's what she said. Northerners will then have no obligation towards the Nigerian state. Of course, if you are to go by that, there is virtually nobody who will be obligated to the Nigerian state. Nigerian state has failed all of us. Whether you are from the south, you are from the north, everybody is living under the cloud of insecurity. Nigeria is the most insecure country in the world today because of the incompetency of the leadership we have in the last 10 years. That's a fact. So Najatu Mohammed, speaking on behalf of the concerned northerners, and take note, when they started this press conference in Abuja, they said that they are speaking not just for the concerned northerners. They consulted with the Northern Elders Forum. They consulted with the Arewa Consultative Forum. They consulted with the youth groups. So what you saw was the North speaking through them, expressing their anger about the state of security in Nigeria, about the state of the nation. So I think the government has to take it serious and ensure that they improve security in this country, that Nigerians feel safe everywhere they are, everywhere they live in Nigeria. And he said that the Nigerian state, like any modern state, is sustained by social contract. That is true. You and I were not carrying guns. Why? Because there's a social contract between us and the government that we will not carry gun individually to protect ourselves. Government will provide security for us. That's a social contract. When government failed to protect us, they have failed in that social contract. Are we obligated to continue to honor that contract? That is the question that is being raised by this press conference. And she went on to say that the obligation to obey civil government under the social contract was conditional upon the protection of the natural rights of each person. She was quoting John Locke. So the government has obligation to protect the people under the social contract. The reason why we left our protection in the hands of government is because we believe that they will protect us, then we as citizens will, in conformity with that social contract, fulfill our own obligation of paying tax, of being obedient citizens, and working for the general good of the country. But the state of Nigeria has continued to fail Nigerians. So what you saw, what we all witnessed in all those viral videos of what happened to the 16 hunters was Nigeria happening to them. Nigeria has failed its people. And not Nigeria as a geographic entity, but Nigerian leaders. So she was saying that if the state should fail, we have no obligation to obey or even continue the union. This is where they made a subtle threat of disintegrating the country. If the country as a state cannot protect the people, what is the essence of its continuous existence? That is what she said. That is at the angle you have to look at that statement. So what is the essence of the union? When you are in a union and you don't feel safe in the country, in that union, do you continue with it or do you break up the union? So that's where the perspective is coming from. When the government failed to protect the Northerners, of course, this time I'm expanding it because you know only Northerners that are not being protected. All over the country, Nigerians are not being protected. But narrowing it to what we're discussing, North is the subject matter here. That's what they are addressing. They said that when the government failed to meet or to fulfill its own obligation, it may not be wise to continue with the union. He said that North has continued to make sacrifices to keep the union. Of course, it's not only the North, several sections. If you ask people from the Southeast, they will tell you the blood of the Southeasterners that have been shed for this union. The Civil War alone, over 3 million lives were lost. Over 3 million lives. And look at all the crises that the country had been having, in which several people from Southeast have been massacred throughout our history. Go and check it. So he said that the North has sacrificed to keep the union. Not only the North, the Southeast have sacrificed a lot to keep the union too. There's a lot of sacrifice all over the place. Look at what the Benue people are passing through in their state. If not for the union, why should millions of Benue people be living in IDP camps? It is because of the union. The price, the sacrifice. They are losing their ancestral lands, and these things are happening all over the country, in many places. So people are paying a lot of price for the union. And she went on to say that it looks like it is time to throw in the towel. It means that it is time to say to your tent, O Israel. So it's a very pungent press conference that address issues that federal government should take serious. The issue of insecurity in Nigeria, making sure that the Nigerians are safe anywhere they are. And we can only advise that the government take all these concerns seriously and protect every Nigerian wherever they may live. Protect the farmers in their farms, protect the travelers on the road, protect the traders in the market, protect all Nigerians in all walks of life to ensure peace in this country. Of course, they say that they are going to continue to monitor the investigation to see how it goes and to ensure that there will be payment of compensation. Of course, the Edo State government the governor has promised to pay compensation. He has visited the families of the dead and all that. But it seems that people are still not satisfied with the effort that Edo State Governor Monday Bola had made to douse the tension generated by that unfortunate killing. But what is clear is that these northern leaders, these concerned northerners, want Tinubu to know that if North is not protected, being part of the union does not make sense to them. So if Tinubu wants North to continue to be part of the union, they should be treated equally. But to me, I would say, let protection of Nigerians be holistic all over the country. Let no part of Nigeria be left out of the protection architecture. And let's take note of what they have said to know how serious they took this incident that happened in Uromi, Edo State. We know similar things happen all the time in this country. Nigeria happens to Nigerians in so many ways. But it appears that this particular one did not want to use it to send a message to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There are people who have said all these things have been happening even under Buhari administration. Well, it happened under Buhari. If Buhari didn't do something, then Tinubu should do something to ensure the protection of lives and property. That's what this concerned northerners are saying. And that's why they are threatening disintegration of this country if the lives of northerners are not guaranteed anywhere they are in Nigeria. But I think that this protection they are talking about should be holistic. The government should protect all Nigerians everywhere they are, as long as we remain one Nigeria. Every Nigerian should be able to feel safe and be safe anywhere they are. What is your reaction to the concerned northerners? These concerned northerners, among those that participated in that press conference that I could identify as Najatu Mohammed, there was also Professor Yusuf Usman, who was the former executive secretary of National Health Insurance Scheme. He was there at that press conference. The former Minister of Sports, Solomon Dalong, was also there to show that they take this matter seriously, and they say that they are speaking on behalf of the Northern Elders Forum, on behalf of the Arewa Consultative Forum. That's why their threats, subtle threats as it may seem, should be taken serious by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and those in charge of this country and others in charge of this country. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you, and please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.